Joining us now from Capitol Hill, Democratic representative from South Carolina and Assistant Democratic leader, Congressman Jim Clyburn. Jim, good to have you back on the show.
Always great to have you on the show. Hey, what's the Democratic Party's goal in the House of Representatives over the next couple of years?
Well, our goal is the same as I think the Republican goal is, and that is to get America back to work. We believe that the American people want very much for us to focus on job creation, for us to begin to get people not just back to work, but to improve their quality of life. And I think that that is what I heard most often during the campaign. I think we're still in that mode, and I'm looking forward to getting it done.
Congressman Willie Geist here. We've been talking this morning. Joe noted when he was walking the floor yesterday, just the tone seemed to be that people understood it wasn't a moment for partisanship. They weren't the first people to ever take these offices. Do you notice anything different, having been there on several of these transitions, about this group in the House this time around with Republicans in control?
Yes, I think Joe got it exactly right. I watched him on the floor on yesterday. He stayed away from me for some reason.
That's just not true.
Maxine just held on so tightly.
I was watching from above, Congressman, and I noticed you edging away.
Did he move away from
Yes, I think he was. He was sort of just actually sprinting.
He was over in my area at one point, and I saw him talking with Tim Scott, who's the new Republican African-American from the Charleston area. And I went back to Tim, and I asked him whether or not he thought he was going to get a little tainted hanging over there on that side of the aisle. He didn't think so. He thought we were some good people over there.
You know,
but he's right. The tone is different.
By the way, I want to say I was excited, and excited is the word I'm going to use. I was excited to see Tim over on the Democratic side, because there aren't a lot of Republicans when they first get there that wander over there. I think that's a hopeful sign, and I want to see more of it, because as you know, that center aisle sometimes is like, as we say here, the Berlin Wall.
That's quite true. And I kept looking for him on the other side, and all of a sudden something happened. I guess when he voted. And I noticed that he was on my side, and I went back and chatted with him. He's a good guy, and I look forward to working with him. And I think it's all about South Carolina, and we are going to be working together to make our state. We've got real problems in South Carolina. Unemployment is much higher than the national average. We have a big issue with our port. We've got to work together to get things done.
Mark Alpern. Congressman, I always like to be forward-looking, but I do want to check with you on one thing we've been discussing that happened yesterday. What did you think of the length and tone of Leader Pelosi's remarks compared to John Boehner's length and tone?
Well, I thought it was longer than I expected it to be, but I think she laid out exactly what was accomplished as the first woman speaker. She was under a microscope. I think you would admit to that. And there were a lot of people who really vilified her, and those people never focused on the substance. It was all about style. Nancy wanted to go out with people thinking about the substance of what occurred during her 4 years as Speaker,
do you think,
and I thought it was well.
Do you think, Jim, that Nancy is angry with the way she's been vilified over the past year, with the tens of millions of dollars that have been targeted directly at her? Do you think it's caused her to be embittered, and that may be why we saw the response yesterday?
No, I don't think she's bitter at all. She ought to be concerned about it. She don't want to be defined by 30-second sound bites, and that's what has happened. So the whole world was focused yesterday on the House chamber, and she took that opportunity to lay out exactly what she had accomplished. That was a time that I thought she used very well, and I thought that Boehner responded very well by focusing on the tone that he will use going forward. And John is that kind of guy. I've played a few rounds of golf with him. We've talked a lot, just the two of us. I know a little bit about the kind of background and upbringing that he has had, though mine was more in a parsonage than where his was. But I know a little bit about that kind of background.
Yes. Tina.
Yeah. I mean, how much do you think that she will now become a sort of La Pasionara in exile, you know, that she will become the sort of the rallying point for, you know, the unhappy left and be kind of unfettered in her now in her ability to just simply play that role in an even more, if you like, vocal fashion than she has already?
Well, you know, I think that Nancy Pelosi is one of the most skillful legislators and politicals that I've ever been around. And she is not going to allow anything to deter her from moving to bring our caucus and keep our caucus together. She's going to do a good job at that. I think we will notice as we go forward that she will be managing the affairs of the Democratic caucus in such a way that we will be attractive once again to the American people. We'll have our trials and tribulations. It'll take some getting used to looking up at the board and seeing all the red on your names. That is going to be a problem for us, but we are going to recognize that as a challenge for each and every one of us to stay focused on what the American people want us to focus on, and that is get us back to work, get the full faith and credit of the United States, keep that on top of the agenda, and we'll be doing that within the next 60 days.
All right, Congressman Clyburn.
Will you tell him for me that I didn't try to stay away from him?
Well, it was actually, I'm going to ask him just between us to try and be nice to Joe when he shows up on the House. I mean, I understand, Congressman, but
I was wondering where he was.
That football still.
You know, it's a football. That's it, because I got hugs from everybody on the Democratic side, but
he was
we
repelled.
got Jim still thinking about the Gamecocks beating Alabama.
All right,
You got that
Congressman.
right.
Thank you very much.
Never let you forget it.
All right.
Yes.
Wow.